Hey, let's talk about some basic base prep. This side profile here is of a typical residential paving stone installation. Just pedestrian traffic for 4 to 6 inches of road base on top of a well compacted subgrade, 1 inch of bedding sand, and our paving stone. The subgrade should be a nice clay type soil. That would be like a load bearing soil, devoid of any organic material that might decompose and cause it to sink. Sort of viewpoint here of looking at the compaction. This is of a typical 3/4 inch road base, a well graded material that has large, medium, small particles in it that compact and fill in all the little holes in the gravel once it's compacted to make it a nice hard surface. So we always want to do no more than 4-inch lifts, and that usually compacts down about an inch, as you can see. So to get to 6 inches of road base, I'm doing 3 lifts and just making sure that each one is very well compacted. And we'll also look at using an actual vibrating plate compactor, which you can see how that works. So there, definitely the most useful way to get base prep going on like a paving stone patio like this one will be. So we lay out our heights, excavate to our depth, measuring out the height of the road base, sand, and paver. Just gonna scrape it all down here, and you can see in a sec here, we're gonna start add a very thin first lift so that the subgrade gets compacted with it. It's a little mucky out here, so we wanted to just make sure that the compactor was gonna roll over it really nice and get it compacted and not just drag mud around. So from there, once that's really well done, usually we do 3 passes going multiple directions, minimum, depending on how it's feeling. Usually do more than that just to make sure each layer is very well compacted. And we're just going to do another lift here and sort of tidy it up before we get into a final screed height. I'm going to do a more in-depth video on screeding, but here's some basics, a few different techniques. I at least like to use a string line and a level or a 2x4 and get that top layer of road base really nice and flat. I find it just makes the installation a lot easier when it comes to screeding our sand after, and just, gets a really nice flat surface to work off of. You just want a clean sheet, perfectly graded to your string lines. So take a little bit of time and get some detail and use a level or a straight edge and fine tune it. I know a lot of companies will just use a landscape rake and get it pretty close and then just adjust their height with their sand if it's within a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. I just find this extra step just adds a little bit more accuracy. So I take an extra hour maybe in the day and set up some screed rails in this case, or I could just use the level and work to my string lines and just make sure that I'm at the exact right height for whatever material I'm installing on top of this. Keeping in mind that whenever we compact, the surface will drop. Depending on the thickness of the layer, it could drop as much as an inch or as little as 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch. Just depends on what your last lift height was. So there's some basic screeding just with the level, and we got a nice flat surface now to lay our bars on and get to work on our paving stones. If the subgrade is not ideal, ideally you dig down as far as you need to get to good load-bearing soil. But if you're a little bit worried about it, you can use a geotech cloth, making sure it's overlapped about 12 inches, and compact your road base on top of that in lifts, and that will help stabilize it. Here's a basic wall base prep. So I already compacted 1 or 2 layers. I'm adding a lift or 2 of road base, and I'm just going to use my level again just to making sure it's nice and flat, so it makes my start of my block wall, which is what this is going to be, really, really nice and easy. So I'm not adjusting the road base too much after this, just some minor tweaking. So once again, take a little bit of time, use a string line, use a level, use a straight flat board, whatever you need to do to make it easy on yourself, and just make the installation a little bit more professional. that's just a hand tamper there, pretty standard. You just have to make sure that if you're using a hand tamper that you actually put the work in and get the base compacted as it should be. So there's a nice easy installation for a wall, and once again the side profile of a paving stone installation. Let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you soon. And like and subscribe to see all the rest of my videos. More coming at you.